everyone, it's Kat here. Thanks for joining me again for another yoga sequence. I've prepared a mostly floor-based sequence today, so we'll be guiding through just some really lovely stretches and some slower flow movements based all around the floor, and really working on our core and just stretching out our neck, our back, our legs and our hips. So I hope you enjoy. So if you'd like to join me, we're going to start this sequence just basically lying on our back flat on the floor in our initial Shavasana. And so for Shavasana, we're just really going to relax every part of our body into the mat. So we're letting go of our feet, our legs, our knees and hips, the back, just allowing them to just feel the full support of the floor and just allow them just to relax and melt into the mat. Releasing the shoulders, allowing the arms just to lie gently beside the body. We're removing any tightness, any tension, just starting to notice. Are you holding on to anything? Is your muscles anywhere in your body tightening or constricting? And if so, just breathe just a little bit of breath, a bit of intention into that space, and just feel it slowly releasing. Just going to allow ourselves to just arrive on the mat, or arrive in this space, and just preparing to commence our yoga practice. Maybe just starting to bring some attention to your breath, just noticing the way that it enters and exits the body. And using this consciousness of the breath to just really anchor the mind, so that as we begin to move our body and our mind begins to wander away, just nudging it gently back by just reminding the mind to think back to the breath. From here, we're just going to take a really lovely deep stretch, so bring the arms up above the head, pointing out the toes and just feeling a nice stretch through the whole body. Maybe pointing each foot alternately in turn so that you feel each hip and each side of the body stretching a little bit deeper. Feels good. And from here, we're going to bring the knees into the chest and just hug them down towards the chest and just rocking gently from side to side and just feeling a gentle massage on the back, on the hips. Great, and from here, we're going to keep the knees into the chest. So we're going to allow them to hover there. Bring the arms out beside, so either completely out, so that you're shaped like a T, or maybe you have bent elbows, so cactus arms at 90-degree angle. Taking a nice deep breath in, and on your next exhale, allowing the knees just to come over to one side. So I'm turning over to the right, and allowing the head just gently to gaze over towards the left. Aiming to keep both shoulder blades down onto the mat, flat on the ground, so the upper torso is still flat on the mat, and we're twisting from the lower spine and the hips. Breathing. Great. And then we're bringing the knees back into center. If your knees don't make it all the way to the ground, maybe you want to prop it up with a block or a brick or something, or maybe use your hands just to hold your knees in spots so they're not just hovering in the air. So we're taking that same stretch onto the other side. So inhaling in and exhaling over to the opposite side and inviting the head to look over. And again, so if the knees are not in contact with the ground, if they're sort of just hovering there, maybe use your arm to support them, or maybe using a block underneath. Just feeling the twist here in the lower back and in the hip area. Nice. Okay, from here we're going to come back to center. Hugging the knees back in. We're going to take another hip stretch. And by doing that, we're going to bring the feet down, flat onto the ground, keeping the knees up. We're going to cross the left leg over the right so that the ankle of the left foot is just hovering, just resting on the thigh, just above where the knee is. So we're not resting on the knee, we're just resting a bit below the knee. And from here, we're either going to just keep the stretch there and just very gently, just stretching out the knee so that we're feeling a stretch in the hip, in the outer hip and sort of the inner front area of the hip. And either keeping it exactly there without moving, or alternatively, you might want to take it up a slight notch more by lifting the right leg up into the air, and either keeping it at a 45-degree angle and grabbing behind the thigh, or lifting the leg straight up into the air. And we're just taking a stretch here. So we're feeling a nice deep stretch in the left hip socket. And just as we're doing this, just be conscious about what the rest of your body is doing. How are your shoulders? Are they cinched up towards your ears? If so, just breathe again, release, relax them down. Awesome. And then let that foot come down, release the left foot, and we're going to take that over to the other side. So lifting the right leg over the left knee, so resting the right ankle over the thigh of the left leg, and maybe just keeping it there to start with. And maybe taking it up a bit further by lifting the left leg up into the air. Either straight or bent at a 90-degree angle. And again, breathing softness into the rest of the body as we do this. So breathing softness into the shoulders, the neck, chest. Great. And then let that come down gently, releasing the other leg gently. Beautiful. Preparing now to take bridge pose. We're going to do that by measuring out the feet so that you can touch the soles or the heels of the feet with the tips of your fingers. And we're just going to think about alignment before we start to lift. So our feet are roughly hip width apart. We can just graze the soles with the tips of our fingers. The knees are approximately that far, kind of a brick or a block distance apart. So we don't have really, really wide knees. They're not touching each other. They're kind of just hovering a few centimeters apart from each other. And that's the position we're going to keep them in. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Back is nice, firm, straight and tall. And we're aiming to keep the head looking up towards the ceiling because we're going to be coming up to our weight on our shoulders and our neck. So we're really aiming not to look from side to side as we do that because that's putting pressure on the neck when our neck is tilted and turned to one side. So really keeping to look up. So I'm going to take one that you can maybe look at and then turn your head looking up towards the roof. And keep it there as you continue this posture. So what we're going to do is from here, we're going to press the hands into the mat, press the feet into the mat. So we're really forming a nice firm base. And as we inhale, we're going to lift up, starting from the tailbone and lift up as we come up, inhaling, and then exhaling down. And there's a lot to think about there. There's our knees, our feet, our back, our shoulders. And then inhaling, we're coming up. And exhaling as we come down. We're going to take a few more of these. So find your alignment, find your head, a spot for your head to be looking up towards the sky. And coordinate with your breath, inhaling as you rise, pressing away from the earth with your hands and your feet, lifting up with your hips towards the sky, and exhaling as you lower. We'll take a few more. Really activating the thighs. Glutes. And if you found a gentle rhythm, just keep that going with your breath. And if you want to try holding bridge pose, the next time you're up, your hips up in the air, we're going to interlock the fingers underneath the hips, and we're going to bring the shoulder blades in towards each other gently. And we're going to find just that little bit of extra height. So with your fingers interlocked, you're pressing down into the mat. With your hands, you're pressing down with your feet, and you're lifting higher still with your hips. And we're holding and breathing fully and deeply. Great. Unlocking the hands, pressing them into the ground, and slowly curling the body down onto the mat. Pausing for a moment, taking a nice deep breath. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest and just rocking that out gently side to side. And just feeling a gentle massage from the floor on the parts of your lower back and your hips that you've just stretched out and curved in bridge pose. So we're really opening through that. We're stretching out the back and we're opening up the front of the body down from the lower pelvis all the way up towards the chest, and we're breathing and almost imagining an accordion as we're opening that out and stretching and breathing space into the front of the body. Great, so knees back into the heart center and towards the chest, rocking gently from side to side. And we're going to take that gentle massage that the floor is offering us right now by just rocking from head to toe. So we're taking the massage now from the neck down towards the tailbone. Awesome. And then we're going to come up to seated. And we're going to transition through to table. So we're coming now into table pose, and our table is our hands just nicely positioned under the shoulders, pressing them down into the ground, knees just below hips, flat feet, or maybe you want to experiment with toes tucked under, see how you feel. And just focusing, really bringing your attention to elongating the spine. So the crown of your head is pulling out towards the front of the room. The tailbone is pulling out towards the back of the room. So we're tall, straight spines. And we're going to take some cat-cows to start with. So inhale, we're going to bring the belly down to the ground, or down to in the direction of the ground, looking up towards the sky. Exhaling as we press away from the earth and arching the spine up towards the sky. Just want to take that again in turn. So inhaling, belly comes into the direction of the earth. Shoulders back away from the ears, looking up. Exhaling, pressing away from the earth, arching up towards the sky. And just find your own rhythm. Nice, deep, full breath. Great, and after the last one, we're going to come back into a neutral spine, so a nice table, and just continue stretching out the neck. Maybe finding little circles or stretching out the sides. Stretching out the shoulders, so making little circles with the shoulder blades as we rotate them one way, and then we rotate them the other way. And just wriggling out the hips and just allowing the hips just to turn from side to side and feeling the stretch in the side of your body all the way up from your armpits down towards your hips. Okay. Beautiful. And so from here we're going to focus a little bit on the core and also our balance. So again, positioning the hands, positioning the knees so we're really firm and straight as a table. And from here we're going to stretch forward with the right arm as we bring the left leg back. So we're stretching towards the back of the room with our left foot and towards the front of the room with our right hand. So stretching, stretching, and from there maybe curling the elbow and the knee in towards each other, and then uncurling and stretching back out. So we're really activating the core because the core is really helping us to stay balanced on two of our limbs and helping to keep us strong and straight as we pull out and then curling back in. So just take a few more of these on this side. Great. And then release the hand, release the leg, and find the balance now on the other. So we're going to balance now on the right hand as we stretch the left hand forward and bringing the right leg back. Great. We're stretching out both limbs and then curling them in and stretching them out. And just see how that feels in your knee. If you're feeling a little bit of pressure, you might want to turn your mat over to give it just a bit of extra cushioning. You might want to put a thin blanket underneath your knee just to help provide it with the extra support. Great. And then release. So we're really going to activate now the core and the tops of the feet. So we're going to just come to our table. We're going to bring our feet flat, the tops of our feet flat onto the mat. And pressing down with the hands, we're going to lift the knees up by pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. So we're really activating the legs, the core, and then lower. Great, another time, we're going to lift again, pressing and lifting to the tops of the feet. And lower. And one more as we lift up. Great, and lower. Awesome. Now from here, we're going to take a thread the needle of the arms, and again, this is going to be a back twist as we do this. So we're going to lift now our right arm up into the air. So we're keeping the knees and we're keeping the left hand flat on the ground, stretching up with the right, taking the right arm and threading it underneath the left arm as we bring the right shoulder blade down, just the top of the shoulder down towards the ground. So we're sort of balancing on the top of the shoulder and feeling a nice deep stretch in the back of the shoulder blade. Keeping the left hand on the mat, keeping balanced. Taking a deep breath here. Nice. And then from here, I'm using the top hand to press and unravel the body back to table, taking the same stretch over to the other side, stretching up with the left arm and threading it under, just bringing the top of the shoulder down to the mat. And again, taking the stretch over to the other side, feeling a nice deep stretch in the back of the left shoulder blade, twisting the back. Deep breaths. Great. And then uncurling, coming back to table. So we're going to now allow our hearts to melt gently onto the mat. So we're going to really activate the feet, activate the neck, the legs, the thighs. We're going to stretch forward with the arms. And then we're going to just gently allow, so without sitting back on the feet, so we're still aiming to keep this 90-degree angle with the knees and the thighs. And we're just actually allowing the heart to come down towards the ground. And maybe your chest does reach the ground. Maybe you're hovering. Maybe your forehead meets the ground or your chin. Just allowing ourselves just to open our heart space down towards the earth. Bending the back, so we're arching the spine again. Just breathing into your full lungs. Keeping the arms quite active, so providing quite a lot of support for your upper body through your arms, pressing down to the earth. And then gently peeling back up into table. And we're going to rest for a few breaths in child's pose. There's a few variations of child's pose. I'm going to keep my feet together and my knees together and sitting back onto my feet and allowing my whole torso to just curl over my knees, bringing my head down towards the mat and allowing my hands just to rest, my arms just near my feet. So my whole back is just opening out and breathing out. So one option. Another option is bringing the knees as wide as the mat, keeping the toes together and just stretching the body out, allowing the torso just to gently rest between your thighs as you open out and just breathe in child's pose. So this is extended child's pose. You've got both at your options, so just take whichever one feels good right now. Great. And gently, we're going to peel back up and just find a nice seated pose as we close our practice together. You might want to take this seated, you might want to take this lying down, you might want to rest on the mat for a bit longer after we close and just do that. Just find that really nice stillness that you get after a flow, a series of flow yoga or a bit of a yoga practice, that lovely stillness, that lovely deep breath that you find. So here we're just going to close our eyes. If you're seated, just bringing your hands to your knees, just finding some stillness. So we just allow that practice just to connect in the body, allow any energy to just continue to settle. Maybe just feel the sensation of any heat that you've created, just gently spreading across the body. Deep, full breaths. And that brings us to the end of our shared practice together. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it offers you some strength, some warmth to carry throughout your day. See you next time. Namaste.